Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Work at Home Rockstar Podcast. Excited for today's episode. We're talking to a communications specialist and consultant, and what she does is she helps people find their voice and use it with purpose. I love that. So we are talking today with Corine La Font. Hey, Corine, you ready to rock?
Of course, I'm ready to rock and roll. Where's the band? Where's the band?
Brilliant. We're gonna rock out. So we always start off here on a good note. So tell me a story of success that we can be inspired by.
Oh, a story of success. That I'm living the life that I've always been dreaming of, you
Mhm.
know? It has reached that point. I mean, I've been doing it, but it has evolved. And when I say doing it, I mean I'm able to be at peace. The kids are grown. They're not living with me. Yay, me. And that's important, as a mother, you do your part as a mother. And I don't think when you're growing kids, you're thinking, when will this end? You're trying to hold on to the kids as long as possible.
Mm,
But I was like, oh my God, when will this end? You know? And it's good that my life is in a place now that I feel thankful for. The kids are grown and they're doing their own thing, working, accomplished. I don't have to worry about them. So I'm at a good place. And I'm not there like other people may have been when they retire. People will say at 65 or 60, when they retire, they could do their own thing. I don't believe in that. First to begin, I don't believe in anything called retirement. I don't know who came up with that word, that rumor, because I don't know what you're retiring from.
yeah.
You have life in life in your body, and you're still a sane individual. You could do a lot of things. So I want to spread the joy of being in a good place, feeling good about myself. I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm contented. I could make choices. Back there was a time where, you couldn't say no to certain things, especially as a solopreneur. You probably have to try and take on as many things as possible to try and make ends meet. But you know, saying no. And that's one of the things I want to bring out in your podcast too, being able to say no and having the choice. People talk about freedom, when it comes to working from home, remote, that type of thing. And they think, I don't know what they think and what freedom is, but for me, freedom is being able to have the choice to say no, that you
Yeah.
don't have to say yes to everything and stress yourself out just because you're in a situation and not being in a desperate position or feeling that you're desperate, that you have to say yes. You know, um, Even if you are in a desperate position, you should not even say yes because you're betraying yourself. And you see that part, Tim, is it kills me more than if I were to drink poison. It's self-betrayal has been a significant thing for me, especially lately. I've been coming to terms with it. And what just popped into my mind as I said this, when you work from home, you have a lot of time to think, to
Yeah.
self-reflect, that the environment is right for it. Once you don't have kids or anything distracting you, your thoughts tend to slow down and you have the time to be able to slow down so that you're able to think about what you really want and what you really don't want and to be able to set those boundaries. So
Wow.
that's the joy I'm spreading today.
Yeah, that's a great story. And I agree. I mean, the freedom, I mean, when it comes down to it, we all have to do something. We all have to work.
Yes. Yes.
But like, I think that your story is very similar to what I want to inspire people to do. I want people to be able to choose. Like
Yeah.
when you're working in a job and someone's telling you what you need to do or you get fired, right? I mean, that's a different scenario
Yeah.
than perhaps a client that telling you what they want you to do and you being able to say, I don't want to do it, and dropping
Exactly.
them as a client potentially and going to
Yeah.
find another client. You have that ability to do something like that when you're self-employed, but when you're
Yeah.
stuck, and you don't have any other choice, then that, because I agree with you. I mean, what are you retiring from? Is your job that bad? Is your work that bad that you need to stop? Right?
Yeah. And even if it is, you have the choice to choose something else that you enjoy. You
Yeah.
see, the mistake I think people are making is that they're living for other people. They're too
Yeah.
concerned about what other people think.
Yeah.
what your family would think, what your husband would think, what your sister, it doesn't matter. It's your life. They have lived their life, or they are living it. And nobody should have any authority over the decisions that you make.
Yeah.
You're an adult, and what if you mess up? What if the world is not going to come to an end? You'll still be breathing, hopefully the next day, just let it go. I think we are taking things too personally, and we are giving permission to too many people in our lives.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then that kind of leads us to the bad note because like you say, I mean, you are going to make some mistakes. Things are not going to go as planned. And I think that a lot of people, put off, doing what they really want to do because they're worried about those mistakes. I'm wondering,
Yeah.
can you share with me like something that didn't go as planned and share it with the audience and then maybe help us like see how you recovered?
Um, I can't think of any major thing, but one of the things that I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but I can, let me share the story. Okay, so like I'm also a podcaster, and I've been doing it, like I said to you off air, from since about 2010. I've
Hmm.
taken little breaks in between. But then when I assess it recently, because I was still even pushing, I revamped it, my whole imagery, my brand, everything. I had done all of that recently. Only to realize I'm just not as gung-ho about it anymore. I'm not just giving it, what it deserves. I'm not feeling it anymore.
Yeah.
And I had to sit down, take a step back and say, why is this happening? What is going on? And it just wasn't in alignment with who I am and who I want to be going forward in my life. But I felt this kind of a chaotic situation. But Corine, you have done it, and everybody's expecting it. And then you have had so many hundreds of guests who love to come back to your show. And there's so much great reviews. And again, it is coming from other voices that was coming at me. And I felt like I had to. So there are times that you're going to feel like you have to do something, but where really is that have to voice coming from?
Mm,
Where really? And is it really in alignment with you, the now Tim, the now Corine, And the Corine going forward and the Tim going forward? Is it matching? And I'll tell you this, Tim, when I let it go, I just let it go. And I was like, so relieved. I felt such a, I don't know, like I was carrying this weight that I
yeah.
didn't realize I was carrying. And even talking to you about it now, I just feel such a joy of letting go of my podcast, which seems so crazy. But it's just not going forward with me. It's like a friend. You have been friends with somebody for so many years and you've been doing everything together, but you want to do something that's different and you can't take that friend with you.
Mm,
As much as you want to take that friend, you just can't. He can't go with you where you're going. She can't go with you where you're going. The love is still there for my podcast. The love is still there for your friend. But the journey that you're on now, you have to shed a lot of things. So I wouldn't really call it a mistake, but the mistake or a failure is more of understanding where you are, the journey that you're on,
yeah.
to be able to know it's okay. There are things in your business or in my business many years ago when I started working virtually, I had taken on a lot of stuff and then I had to shed it. It just wasn't me. I didn't want to do it. Could you imagine you're doing something? You start a business because you want to do a particular thing. You want to have the flexibility, the freedom. But then you're quarreling with yourself every day. You're mad going to bed every day. Those two things just don't go together.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really a mistake. I think the mistake was trying to hold on to it.
Yeah.
If you want to look at it like that, trying to hold on with a tight grip and not letting go. So when you decide to start your own business, you have to make those kind of decisions, and it's okay. And I may resume the podcast probably a little later on. Who's to tell? My life may evolve into that, and it may attract that type of thing. But right now, I'm good. I did it from 2010. I can't even do the maths on how long that has been.
Yeah. It's funny. So I think that's probably a really relatable message to a lot of people, and just that once you do something or you're with somebody or anything like that for a long, it's like the longer you're with them, the more connected you feel to it, or loyal, I guess you feel to
Attached.
it,
Yes.
attached. And like we're allowed to change our minds, right? I mean, just because it was the right business to start, it doesn't mean that you can't just change and do something different. But I think
That's
that a
right.
lot of people just don't, they don't. And now I think that another big lesson about that right now, especially, is that the world is changing pretty drastically. And I
It
think where
is.
this could really cause people problems, like yes, there's problems like you say of just not being aligned and just not liking it anymore. And
Hmm.
that's a problem, right? Because
Hmm.
it'll hurt your mental ability.
Of
But
course.
you could still be productive and paying the bills and everything could still be going good. But what about if you get stuck doing something that maybe that job market is disappearing? Maybe the world is changing and now you're still doing something that is going away, but you feel so connected to it and attached to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's something that we have to deal with. That term called attachment is what gets us in a lot of trouble
Hmm.
because we are not seeing it objectively without bias.
Yeah.
If someone was to come to you and tell you that same story of what they're going through with attachment, you would say, "Boy, why are you still holding on to that? Girl, let that XYZ go."
Yeah.
It's easy to give advice to somebody. But when it comes to you, you're not, that same situation is happening to you. You're not, it's hard for you to take that advice. Why? Because you're attached to it.
Yeah.
If you remove that attachment to anything, whether it is a parent, a spouse, a friend, and you say, if this wasn't my friend, if he wasn't my spouse, if she wasn't my wife, if he wasn't my child, if that wasn't my boss,
Yeah.
you're going to see it very, very clear. The
Yeah.
attachment is on the title that person holds:
Yeah.
husband, wife, son, daughter, best friend, job. If you remove that, it makes it extremely clear what you're dealing with. You have to remove the attachment in order for you to get clarity. And
Yeah.
that's what I do as a communication specialist too, because I help people to gain clarity in situations and what they're dealing with, because you're mixing it up with the emotional attachment that you have and the title that person has to you. My mother, my father, my husband, my daughter, my son. I can't. No. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Remove that attachment and it becomes clear. Your child is doing something. If somebody came to you and they said their son was doing that, you would say, but why are you tolerating that? You're the mother. We have to be able to remove attachment. And that's the only way to do it. Remove that title, remove that emotional tie that you have to that role that that person has in your life.
Agree. Agree. So let's talk a little bit about the jam room. Now, you've been working from home for a long time. And so tell me about how your home office operates. Like, how is that built for you?
My home office is on my bed. I love working from my bed.
That's awesome.
That's the beauty. I am in my pajamas or whatever you want to call it for as long as I want. I mean, we know how this whole remote thing started. You could be wearing all sort of stuff here, but you might not be wearing anything. But don't worry, I'm wearing something.
Yeah.
So, no, but it gives you that sort of real freedom, real comfort. And the mistake people make is because they think you're comfortable and they think you're free, that you're not working. But it
Mm.
actually does a lot for the mind. It does a lot for the mind because you're comfortable and because you have freedom to think space, no clutter, no distractions, no noise, you are able to perform. Some people are best in the day, some people are best in the night, like I was mentioning to you off air. When I was a young child, I used to be studying 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I love that. And especially when the rain starts to fall and you get that sort of, background simulation. And I just used to soak in everything. Now that I'm older, if I have to read something, it's so difficult. If I read something, it takes me hours, and I'm like, no, this is not making sense. Put down the book. But then, I used to be studying like that. And when I have to work now, I could work anytime. And it works, like I say, with global time zones. Because when you're working 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, it works pretty well with anywhere else. So it works for me. It works for me. I have been doing it for so many years, like you said, but in between those years, I did have to go into in-office work at times, but I guess you would call it probably a hybrid. There are times I was home, there are times I go in. Sometimes I was in office every day. But I was able to still have that flexibility. But no, oh my God, I love it. I have been doing it for a while. As a matter of fact, now I demand that I work remotely. I really don't wish to be mixing with human beings. I love them very dearly, but I like them through the screen. I like them through the screen. I don't have a need for, and this is what traditional workplaces push. Oh, you need to socialize. Um, I don't know what they call it, the Friday evening things and team, and it's for the team. No, 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 that's not true. We could do that online as well. And there are some people who really don't need to mix. I am quite happy being by myself. I want to choose who I want to spend my time with. When you're in the office, you can't get to choose. So they take away that freedom. I'm mixing with Tim, the guy who talks a lot. When I come out and in the social gatherings and he wants to drink all the time, I don't want to talk to Tim, you know. So it takes away that from you, and we know the studies have been done, about work productivity increases, people are so much better, that whole mental health capacity, we don't have that. But it's coming from a place, Tim, of control. You see, they have been so ingrained and programmed. And when I say they, I mean the organizations, the
Yes.
agencies, the people who are hiring you, whoever they are. They want control. Without seeing you sitting at a cubicle, a desk, an office, they don't they don't know what to do. They're like a fish out of water, but that's a them problem, not a me problem. You know, that's a them problem. They need to get therapy for that. That's insecurity, and they probably are having the mental health issues. We don't, and that is something they need to reverse the projection, because they're projecting on us that we are not working when that is clearly not the case. You know, the society and the environment has turned into more performance as opposed to sitting at a desk. Because I could sit at my desk all day. I mean, people are very good at that. I could sit at my desk and do nothing. Do nothing. And at the end of the day, at the end of the month or 2 weeks, I'm coming for my pay. You said you wanted me here. I am here. I don't necessarily have to do anything. Just pay me my money. But you find that people are more productive when they're at home. They're getting things done because they are managing their self, managing their time, making the necessary adaptations, to get the stuff done. And it's more on deliverables, more on what you need to deliver at a particular time, more than being in a particular space sitting down. And you telling me, why are you doing so and so? Who are you talking to? Why are you on the phone so long? Why you didn't come into the office at this particular time? Why did you take lunch so long? Control, control. But they have the issue. It's not us. They are the ones who, like I said, are a fish out of water when
Mm.
they're not able to see you and tell you when to come, when to go, and shout at you or embarrass you or manipulate you in front of other people. They can't get to do that, you know. So they need therapy, Tim. They need therapy.
Probably they do. Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I mean, there are probably different personalities. I know that there are some people that probably do work better in an office environment, and
Of
maybe they
course.
do need. I mean, those control mechanisms are probably there because people do take advantage of it. I mean, like what you said earlier. I mean, if someone just sits there and doesn't do any work all day, they still get paid. And there are people that game the system like that.
Of
However,
course.
I would argue that that's not good for the soul. I think that we are meant to create, we're meant to be
Of
productive, and we're just
course.
happier when we're productive, right?
Of course. Of
Right.
course.
So for me, I just think that we're better off to, get into a type of work or a type of job where we feel the most productive and we feel like we're contributing the most. I know that in my previous job, It was a very, very large company, and I never really saw the end of any project. I was just like
Yeah.
a small cog in this huge machine, and
Yeah.
it didn't feel like I was doing anything. Like I was working every day.
Contributing your life. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when I started my own business and started working for myself, I see the start, the middle, the end of every project, right?
Yes.
Like you
Yeah.
feel like like you're doing
Your
something that way,
life
right?
means something.
Mhm,
Yes, your
mhm.
life means something. You're contributing to something. And that is something even true. It's called like a legacy. When I leave this earth, what do I leave? What's my footprint? That matters to people.
Yeah,
There are some people who it might matter too, and that's fine. That is also their digital footprint. They're
yeah,
leaving just go with the flow kind of energy, and that's fine too.
yep,
And yet, you're right. There are some people who need that structure because I know some people who prefer to go in.
yep.
They need it, and that's okay, but that's just not everybody. And I think coming from an HR perspective, we need to relook and evolve human resources and look at the way people people think, people operate, how best they want to work.
Hmm.
And like I mentioned to you, even off air, Tim, as a woman, we are childbearing creatures. We produce children. We go through a lot of hormones. Like I said, I can't speak for men, but we go through a lot of up and down in our lives. And like for me, I'm going through perimenopause. I don't know when that will end. I mean, I just discovered this whole thing. As a matter of fact, let me take that back. It discovered me. And and I just had to go with it. And it is not something I met before to say, well, hey, perimenopause, good to meet you. What do you do? And have a conversation. I didn't have that. It just came to me and
Yeah,
decided I'm taking over.
yeah,
And there was no get to know you kind of thing. So it's as we go along on this journey, I am learning about perimenopause every day. Yesterday is not the same as today, and it will not be tomorrow. And so workplaces to me, and I hope this gets out in a magnificent way because this is important. Workplaces supposed to consider the phases that we go through in life. If you think back when you were a teenager, of course, you had a lot of energy. You could take over the world,
mm,
You have so much things that you want to do and whatever, and you had time. Nothing is going to happen to you. Time is, I mean, you control time. And then as you're getting in your 20s, you probably might have a girlfriend or somebody serious that you might be thinking of. And you're going through different phases every decade of your life. And as you hit the 40s is a different thing. Some people, they say, you should have had children, or you may have, or you're thinking about a house or investment, savings, all these things that matter to you. And physically, things are happening in your body. How you used to move as a teenager, you're not moving like that in your 40s, worse yet in your 50s and 60s. So they have to really create work and the environment, particularly, to consider all those different phases that you're going through in your life.
yeah,
That some may not want to work until their 40s or 50s. Some may wish to work until they're in their 70s. Some may not wish to work at all. Some may wish to work, from home all the time. Some may want longer vacations. That's another thing that I find ridiculous. I am on vacation every day.
mm,
You are not to tell me when I am to go on vacation, how much sick days I have, when to get sick, how to get sick, for how long. Casual leave, I have to beg. I mean, this is crazy. I
yeah.
am on vacation every day, Tim. Every day I am on vacation.
You're on vacation and you're working.
And I'm working. Well, it's a working vacation. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love
right?
that.
I am on a working vacation. Okay. I could step outside on my veranda and take in the natural birds and the breeze and the trees and the sound that people buy on YouTube and download. I have this naturally right here. I'm in the Caribbean. Come on. I take advantage of that. Why should I be sitting down in a concrete office?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just so awesome that and hey, I mean, some companies probably will develop that. Like as I think that as companies evolve, they're starting to see that they need to, be a little bit more mindful of this because people just aren't gonna go to the jobs anymore. However, in the meantime, we could start something on our own and we can control
Of
these
course.
these variables ourselves, right?
Of course. It's all up to you. You see, the choice is yours.
Yeah.
As I come back to it, nobody should dictate or have that authority. You are not to give anybody permission to do that.
Yeah.
You know, take a chance on you. You know, I when I see people say, oh, they post on LinkedIn or whatever that they were fired or let whatever it is, I'm like, celebrate. This is the opening. Celebrate. This is the opening that you needed. This is the time where the doors are open for you to do whatever you wanted to do, or do
Yeah.
nothing if you didn't want to do that. This is your moment. Celebrate. Say thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you.
I agree. I agree. It's an opening, right? And a door
It
is
is.
closing, a new one is opening, and it's your choice and what you want to do
Of
with it,
course,
right?
it's your choice. It's your choice. And nobody should be guilting you, and nobody will guilt you because you're fired.
Mhm.
So you know, you have that freedom to do whatever you want, you know?
So tell me about, you mentioned that you like to work with people over the Zoom, right?
Okay.
So
Yes,
tell me
please.
about that. Do you hire people? Do you have employees? Do you have
I do.
subcontractors?
That's a beautiful thing when you work from home and you have your own business. You can subcontract. So I do consultancies. And so these are for major regional organizations or intergovernmental organizations that I may have to pull in people as needs be to help me in terms of what I need to do.
Mm,
Some things I do solo, but I manage it, I lead it, you know, at a higher level, make sure everything is on point and they're delivering and on time. I'm very particular with that because it's my name and my business, La Font Associates. That's, you know, the reputation. Yeah. So I do hire people. I do connect with people, even on LinkedIn. You know, I would see people with certain skills. I would reach out. I'll say, hey, send me your portfolio. I'm not looking for anybody right at this minute, but it's good to connect so that, you know, should I need somebody on the fly? Because sometimes these proposals that I send out, they're like within a day or two, I have to submit, you know, and so I need to have people's information, you know, at my fingertips.
hmm
So I will connect with people on LinkedIn. So anybody hearing this, you know, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. You just never know where it will end up. And yes, I do hire people on occasions, you know, but I prefer to work people globally. I like the difference of thinking, and that's a me thing again. I am not into same thinking. You know, I love diversity, challenge what I say, of course, respectfully challenge what the approach to things. I love that. And I don't have to lead everything. Um, I would overall, because it's under my name, make sure that everything goes fine. But if you are very good at something, or I definitely don't want to do it, I am certainly going to make you lead it. I
Yeah.
am going to say, hey, you take the lead on that. You know, we just update me. I have no need to control or to be in the spotlight. I would sit back and support. I love doing that. I that's how I raise my children. I believe that people, once you work with someone, the ones that come after you are supposed to be better than you. I'm supposed to be sitting back and saying, yes, you know, I had something to do with that. That makes me feel real good. We talked about legacy before. That
Yeah.
is what I love, my legacy, that I touch somebody's lives and they are better off than me. They are able to make that bolder step and do the things, you know, that they could do and stretch themselves. That makes me smile. That brings a joy to my heart. So I make people lead and I will support you. I'll make you go up to the podium and present in front of a large audience, and I'll be the person clapping the loudest and screaming the hardest. You know?
Awesome. Awesome.
Mhm.
So let's get into your solo then. What's exciting in your business right now?
Uh, right now, I am building out an ecosystem that I don't want to give too much details about, but I'm building out an ecosystem with my business that creates a sort of infrastructure that allows me to go even more global. That is
Mm,
exciting for
that
me.
is exciting. Yeah.
That is exciting for me. An infrastructure that is there for everybody, you know, but they're just not doing it. And I'm taking the time now, as I have a little downtime, to be able to just put in that solid infrastructure that allows me to go even more global. And that I find it very exciting because I'm learning new things, I'm testing myself, I'm stretching myself, I'm doing things in other areas. The skills that I'm performing is not even mine. I didn't learn it, but I'm learning and making mistakes as I go along. So I love that. And so it's like tinkering, when you come across something and you tinker with it, and you're like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. Oh yeah, oh, let's try this. So I'm tinkering and building an infrastructure at the same time. So I love that.
Awesome. Well, how are people going to be able to find out about this then?
Oh, people can contact me if they have to contact me through the screen, through the screen.
Through the screen, they can book you on Zoom.
Through the screen. The main place to catch me, or two main places actually. If you reach out to me on LinkedIn, well, you see my name on the screen, Corine La
Yeah.
Font. You just do a search for me and you see this cute face. Of course, you can't miss it. So you check me on LinkedIn. And another major place I would love for people to go is beyondthelineslearning.com. That should be pretty simple. Beyond, BEYOND, THELINES learning.com. Beyond the lines.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. Okay. So now I'm wondering, are you a fan of music? Who's your favorite rock star?
Listen, you are my favorite rock star, Tim. You are my favorite rock star because I have to come and see you play in a band. I get excited, and just to say, I know that guy. I want to be able to show up and say, I know the guy who's played that band. I want to
That's
do that.
awesome.
But my favorite artist has always been Michael Jackson, and it will always
Mm,
be. I
mm.
love Michael. I go crazy for Michael. I still don't believe he's dead. I don't care what you think, but I still don't believe he's dead.
I hope not.
I
I
don't
hope he
believe
comes
it.
back and he releases another album.
I don't think he would. That's why I think he's gone under, just
Okay.
quiet. His life has been one that never allowed him to be the child that he
Yeah.
was meant to be. Because he grew bodily, physically as a man, but he was still a child.
Yeah.
And imagine, and I could relate to that because I behave very childlike everywhere I go. People are like, Corinne, grow up. And I'm like, why? Why? I don't know why. His birthday is, I think, the 29th of August, and I'm the 27th.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are just 2 days apart. So I love Michael. I could understand his vision. If you notice, he was extremely visionary. He always tried things. He tinkered with things. Even his movement and dancing is totally nobody. I mean, people always, even to this day, can you imagine, Tim? There are children being born today. They would hear of Michael, and you're going to see them in a video not too long, practicing Michael's
Yep.
doing Michael's steps because the man is just immortal. No matter what time, he's just immortal.
Yeah.
So even if he comes back with he wouldn't. He wants quiet. He wants peace. He wants to just enjoy himself. That's why I feel he's not dead. He's not dead. The man is a mastermind. He's a
Yeah.
mastermind.
He is. He is. And I mean, his music is so good. It's just so much of it. And it's so, I love it too.
When I'm in a mood or somebody gets me, I was like pop on my Michael's music and start to dance. I'm like, yes, this is it. And by the time I'm done, what was I thinking? Who
Yeah.
was bothering me again?
Yep. He can always fill the dance floor.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, the dance floor. That's my thing. Yeah.
Awesome, Corinne. This has been an awesome interview. Thank you so much for rocking out with me today.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. I need to come and hear you play it, Tim.
You
Why
do.
don't you pick up something now and show me? Do it live. Do
I
it
d-
live.
Oh, no, no, no. We're almost out of time, but
Oh my
you
God, don't
you
do me that. I would love to hear you.
you can definitely see me. I've got lots of stuff online actually. I've got my band's online. You can go to
I don't want to see you through
randomsband.com.
the screen. I want to see the other colleagues and workers on the screen. I don't want to see you through the screen. I want to see you live.
So that's the exception. You like the screen for work.
Yes, but with you, I want to see you live.
Well, maybe at some point you can come to Canada. I'm in Canada. You're in the
Oh,
Caribbean. I think I'd probably
Canada
rather
is
go to
too
you.
cold.
Yeah.
I'm not built for the cold.
Well, next time I'm in the Caribbean, I'll look you up.
That's a very good statement. Come to the Caribbean.
Yes. Awesome. And this has been so much fun. To the listeners, make sure you go to workathomerockstar.com for more information, and we'll see you next time on the Work at Home Rockstar podcast.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.